Going on, dudes and dudettes? As I mentioned pretty recently, that USC might get back into the thick of the recruitment of the local Centennial quarterback that I'm pretty close to in Longstreet, that 5-star quarterback in the 2025 class. Looks like they may have been strengthening and kind of flirting with the idea of talking with him a bit more, according to some of the main recruiting databases out there, and it's already happening as we speak. Because maybe it's the fact that the other 5-star quarterback, Julian just hasn't really said anything. He said he was going to shut down his recruitment pretty early around this time in August, and still hasn't for some reason. And whether it was that still picking USC or not, we won't officially know. But I guess USC is just kind of covering their butts, as they say, to make sure they get one of the more talented guys close by. Because he was pretty good last year. He was a pretty good rated 4-star quarterback, but then excelled over this spring and stuff going into his senior year and over the summer, and upped himself to that 5-star status, Longstreet. So yeah, he's developed pretty good, pretty fast guy, good runner, and throws a really good fastball too. So he could be pretty interesting in Lincoln Riley's offense. When it comes to the Team USA, both the men's and women's, the men did play their first round match against Brazil and were able to get that victory, 122-87. Kevin Durant did score the most all-time U.S. points in both men's and women's. I believe he passed up ex-USC Trojan Lisa Leslie, who was leading in that area of total points while playing for Team USA. So congrats to him, and I'm sure she gave her congratulations as well to him as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to see some history being made while Team USA is hopefully going for gold. And the women's side did play against Nigeria. I was correct the other day. Ended up getting that victory a little bit closer. It was 88-74. And I believe they get to play Australia next, who would have actually been the men's side opponent as well, I believe. But they blew a 24-point lead against Serbia. So it looks like USA and Serbia will be playing once again. USA pretty much demolished them the past 2 times before the Olympics and in group play during the Olympics last week, and hopefully they will be able to do the same thing again. Obviously, Nikola Jokic, the 2-time MVP in the NBA, but it's just him. So hopefully they're able to stifle him and get this victory. And a 4-star Midwest offensive tackle, Nick Brooks, I believe I talked about him when he visited USC, and kind of after that visit there were a lot of those fight on emojis, and I kind of assumed one of those might have been for him because he had just glowing stuff to say about his visit to USC that weekend. But it looks like he has put USC finally in his final top 3, and he's probably going to be committing pretty soon. I know Thursday, as you're watching this, at some point, Aaron Dunn, the offensive tackle, the other 4-star from the state of Utah, will be committing to a school, and hopefully that is USC. So if that's the case, then I don't think Nick Brooks is choosing USC, but if they lose out on Dunn, then I think they still have a chance to get Brooks later at some point in this month or next. So looking forward to that. And there was a 4-star wide receiver in Andrew Marsh, one of the top 10 wide receivers out there in next year's class. It looks like he set his commitment date for August 20th, so a couple days before my birthday, which is pretty cool. So hopefully I will be celebrating this during that birthday week, his commitment to USC. I know they've been wanting to get a couple more receivers, and he's one of the more talented ones left. So like I said, either Jerome Miles the other day, who put USC in his top 10, or getting Andrew Marsh would be pretty cool. And it looks like as training camp is going, the Minnesota Vikings have named ex-USC quarterback Sam Darnold as their first-string quarterback. Not surprising, especially with how their season opens up. They get a lot of great teams, except the first game is against the Giants, so that should be easy for the rookie quarterback. But then they play the Jets, 49ers, I think Houston as well. They play a lot of really good top teams out there in those first handful of weeks before their bye week too, which is pretty early. So maybe let Sam Darnold get beat up for the first couple weeks, but at least he gets another starting job in the NFL. So congrats to him so far. Hopefully he can keep it. And the Chargers the other day let go of their outside linebacker Savion Jackson and signs a UFL quarterback in Luis Perez, who is definitely one of the top guys as a quarterback in that league that plays during the spring the past couple of years. So I guess he's going to try to fight out for a backup role with some of their guys. I knew they were going to probably bring somebody in, but this guy is not the veteran I thought they would be, but this is probably a cheaper alternative in the first place. So we'll see how it goes. So it looks like a player from both of my teams have been named to the preseason watch list for the Doak Walker Award, which goes to the top running back in the nation in college football. It was Woody Jaquavius Marks, or whatever he wants to go by, from USC, and then also Jaquez Moore from Duke. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, some pretty talented running backs out there, and hopefully they can make a name for themselves this season. The player that was added to that Biletnikoff Award watch list from Duke was Jordan Moore. So that's pretty good. Obviously, he's one of the more talented players, especially on offense. So glad he is on an awards watch list as well. And then there was a player, I believe his name is Eli Pankel, and it looks like he's got an awards watch list for Comeback Player of the Year, but I don't know if that's for college football, if there is such an award, or just for the ACC, or maybe just for Duke's team itself. So I don't know exactly who's going to be giving him this award if he does win, and I don't even remember exactly what had happened to him. It most likely was an injury that kept him away if he's going to be making a comeback. So either way, hopefully all goes best for him. And a 4-star small forward in basketball recruiting, his name is Sean Abaev. He did set up a USC official visit on September 13th, so a day right before my mom's birthday. So hopefully he has a pretty good day right there, and hopefully that ends up being the reason why he signs with USC in a future date. And when it comes to Derwin James, apparently according to like some sources and maybe even Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers head coach, it looks like he might have drawn up some plays for him to maybe utilize him on offense, which is pretty crazy because he's their all-pro safety and he's really good at it. But now they're going to try to use him out there, which is pretty cool. Obviously, you've seen some ex-defensive players play offense, like one of the more famous ones is the Fridge on that 1985 Bears team. He did that as well, and there's a couple other guys like Jared Allen. He used to do that at the defensive end for the Chiefs in Minnesota, and some other guys too. So we'll see if it goes good. Hopefully it's not going to get him injured or anything like that. They don't need to get him injured, the defensive player, on an offensive play. So hoping for the best in that situation. And I believe the Madden ratings came out for a lot of the rookies, and it looks like the Chargers offensive tackle Joe Alt is the number 2 overall rated rookie at 79. So yeah, that's a pretty good spot for him. Obviously, he's a very talented guy, and to be ranked that high in Madden for your first year, you're obviously doing some pretty good stuff. So hopefully he can bump that up during the season, because they only bump up your stats during the season if you're progressing and doing and playing well. So hopefully that's the case. And I totally missed this a couple weeks ago of like the Duke softball transfer window. Looks like it had closed, but they were able to add at least 3 players. They added a catcher from Penn, and I believe her name was Dakota Farmer. They also added a utility player in Vesa Malau'ulu, I believe that's how you say it, from UCLA, and an infield player, KK Mathis, as well, from James Madison. So a couple of nice places, especially when it comes to softball, especially UCLA and some of those other Ivy League schools. Of course, you're going to get some of those players and stuff to go to a smart school like Duke, but yeah, it's still one of UCLA's top talented players. That's pretty good, so glad they were able to do that. And then, yeah, when it comes to the USC football team, I've kind of seen this number put out here and there, but they kind of been showing it a lot more, where the whole team, when it comes to the amount of muscle in pounds that the USC football team has added this offseason, is pretty crazy. It's like up and over 1,400 pounds, which is pretty crazy for like 70 some odd people to do, especially when it's all muscle and not just like chunk and fat added in pounds. So yeah, that's a lot. Obviously getting bigger to play in the Big Ten, and everybody keeps saying like USC is too finesse and too offensive oriented, and just gonna try to run up the score. But how can they if they're too small? But even like a lot of those offensive guys are looking pretty big too. It's not just on the defense. So I'm pretty excited and pretty thinking highly of this USC team heading into the season. Just hoping everything goes right for them. So it looks like I have a little bit more time for the end of this video, so I'm going to add on some of the USA medals and what was won pretty recently, or as much as I wrote down for the rest of this video. I know it's been crazy. Like, I think pretty recently, a couple days ago, they won like 17 medals in one day, which is pretty insane. I'm pretty sure they're destroying in the total medal count. They are still barely leading when it comes to gold and stuff, but And the total medal count is almost getting like crazy, like almost 20 plus from any other country, which is obviously pretty dominant and pretty cool, which is what we're celebrating here. So get to some of the other winners from a couple of days ago. There was a winner in the women's swim, 200 meters backstroke. She won silver, and that was R. Smith. The men's running is what I put, so it must have been track and field. Was the 10,000 meters. They got bronze with G. Fisher. Then it was the equestrian jumping with the team. They ended up getting silver. Archery mixed team, they got bronze. Swim mix 4x100 meters, they got golds. The men's shot put, they got golds with R. Crozier and silver with J. Kovacs. Then with the women's running, they got silver with S. Richardson and bronze with M. Jefferson. With another track and field mix 4x400 meters, they got silver. Even though they were doing pretty well, they kept getting top spot, but then they got silver there. I'm surprised they didn't get gold. Then the women's swimming, one of the final ones in the 200 meters, Kay Douglas got silver, I believe. I forgot to write it down, but I'm pretty sure she was silver because Summer McIntosh, who is that 17-year-old from Canada, she was just pretty dominant when it comes to just swimming by herself and winning like pretty much a bunch of golds and silver, which is crazy because she's only 17, and imagine what she's going to do for the next decade at least, getting in 2 more Olympics during then. So yeah, congrats to her, congrats to Canada too. I guess they're part of North America, so we can kind of cheer for them, especially if no USA is involved. But yeah, either way, a little bit of an update on some of the medals and stuff. I'm deciding if I'm going to put the rest in its own video or try to add something more if there's more stuff to talk about at the end of another video, and then just save the medal count update for a separate video. But I kind of like just this, talking about a couple of them here instead of just you seeing a bunch of pictures for like 5-6 minutes. So hopefully this works out. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Go Team USA.